Last week I looked at the Bristol sessions in 1927 and how that event began to bring acoustic music and Southern music to the forefront and more to the general population. Recordings were becoming popular now, so people could listen to their favorite artists on phonograph records. In a future show, I'm going to go through the rise of record labels, and by 1927, when Bristol occurred, the very first label, Edison Records, had already been in business for over 30 years, so way before Bristol. It wasn't for a lack of technology, therefore, that acoustic or Southern music hadn't blossomed yet. It was just that nobody had brought it to the forefront. Today and next week, I'm going to follow up on that and look at one particular musical instrument that rose in popularity along with the rise of bluegrass and acoustic music, the 5-string banjo. Its popularity grew and grew right along with the rise of bluegrass. Earl Scruggs, of course, is a big reason for that. But I'm going to look back even further, before Earl's time, and I'll look at the history of the banjo. Banjo was played in the rural South since the second half of the 19th century, arriving from Western Africa. There's likely no single ancestor of the banjo. The instrument shares design elements and playing techniques with a family of spike lutes. These are distinct from their bodies. Spike implies that the neck passes over or through the body of the instrument. So in that way that they're similar to the banjo. And plucked means that it produces a sound when the strings are struck or plucked. And by the 1850s, the banjo had become an integral part of the Southern music scene. However, personally, I've always thought of the banjo as being more of a relative to the drum. The fact that it keeps time, it's a rhythm instrument, and it has a drum. Basically, the head serves as a drum. There were a handful of top American banjo makers during the late 19th century. Fairbanks and Cole was a big one. Another was Farland, and later Vega. And another was Samuel Swaim, or S.S. Stewart, who I'll speak to a bit today. Stewart made banjos in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and was one of the first makers of high-end banjos. His prices ranged from $10 to $200, or from $400 to $7,000 in today's money. Stewart was the very first to strengthen the neck with inlays of hardwood set to the crossgrain to prevent warping. And by 1896, his factory was turning out first-class banjos by the hundreds. Stewart saw the banjo as an orchestral-level instrument. He was a key link between the original mid-century instruments and the banjos of today. Although I'm personally not a collector, I've always been fascinated with banjos, love the sound, and the wide variety of applications, the quick decay of the drive, all of it. So, also being a bit of a history buff, a few years ago I did purchase an S.S. Stewart banjo. The model was their Thoroughbred line, and mine was built in December of 1896 or early 1897. The Thoroughbred was built for professional banjo players of the day, so I was eager to hear the sound. What stands out when I look at it or play it is the appointments. Carved wood under the neck, pearl markers, and nickel-plated German-spun brackets. It's really a beautiful instrument. The tuners are very decorative. The peg head is this incredible fleur-de-lis and other designs. The neck is a cherry wood. It's sort of like a soft cherry wood, not like the cherry wood today that you get on guitars. And this banjo has hand-carved flowers right under the heel area. It's quite the deal. And then up the back of the neck. When it left the factory, it would have had a patented Stewart common sense heel piece. Mine's gone, of course, but I don't want to catch my pants anymore with that tail piece that they had on it. It's got a beautiful tone. The only thing is playing it up the neck I find challenging, and it was set up by 12th Fret here in Toronto, and they're masters at that kind of thing. So that's probably the way it would have been set up in the day. Playing in open, like it's an open G, it's pretty much the same as any other banjo. I don't play it with picks. I play it with just bare hands because of the tone. The tone is gorgeous. I mean, it really is. Different than a Scruggs style banjo, or like a Deering without a resonator. But it's a beautiful tone. In a separate show, I covered how great players who mastered the tonal qualities of their instruments had done so. And in the case of this S.S. Stewart, in open G, the tone for a 130-year-old instrument isn't bad. It tells me that even back then, getting tone out of an instrument was a priority for Stewart. If Stewart, Fairbanks, and a few others were banjo pioneers, how did it develop into the powerhouse instrument that it is today? Next week, I'm going to look at that. We'll look at Earl and the master tone. And for this week, I've got Angels We Have Heard on High, instrumental version. Unlike other Christmas-related songs and carols, this music is very old. It's a hymn. It dates way back to 130 A.D. 130 A.D. And that's interesting since it's around that time that the first ever music written with lyrics, the Sikalos epitaph, which I cover in Sound Threads, was written. However, while the Angels' melody is that old, the lyrics weren't added until way, way later, 2,000 years later. So here it is, Angels We Have Heard on High.
It's time now to take a look at what is going on in the musical life of Freddie Spaghetti.
In last week's installment of the musical life of Freddie Spaghetti, Freddie played songs he wrote at the Magpie Theater. His performance, plus an encore, proved people liked his music. So what's next? All the big musicians have videos on YouTube. So Freddie set out to do a video. So he began searching the internet for ideas on how to make one. Finally, he ended up with some software that allowed him to create a professional-looking video without spending a whole lot of money. He began by developing some Old West backgrounds for his song Cowboy Joe. Tonight, Freddie is sitting on the couch without touching the guitar at all. Not at all. He's been working on the Cowboy Joe video. And he's totally lost track of time. Before he knows it, it was 2 a.m. in the morning. The following day during his shift, a thought kept gnawing at him. I need to redo it. Much like the songwriting, he wants the video to be just perfect. So Freddie hurries home after his shift and immerses himself in the video. He uses the same song, Cowboy Joe, and creates images around some of the verses. Begins to look okay. Working as fast as he can, he uploads the video to YouTube and then follows that by sending it around to some social media sites.
Thanks for listening today. Remember to come right back here next week for another edition of Sound Threads.